Yeah, okay, so yeah, I'm kind of anal like this. Like if I say I'm gonna start at 9, then I need to start like exactly at 9. No sooner, no later. Okay. Uh, an actual explanation of what I'm doing because I want this to be a bit more structured than last time. So basically, there was this Western show called The Young Riders that aired in the late, well, 89 to 92. And it aired in reruns all throughout the 90s, I believe. And around that time, like homemade websites were really popular. If you were like, well, if you were old enough to figure out like HTML code, you could make your own website for you and your friends to use. So Young Riders was pretty popular around the peak of that internet era. So while there isn't much of the fandom left active now, they were incredibly active during like the GeoCities era of the internet. And so you've got, well, I think I've got here about 40 something like old school websites all dedicated to the Young Riders. Yeah, so my last stream I was trying to hunt down more active ones to add to the list, and that made for a pretty boring video because a lot of them were GeoCities, and GeoCities is thoroughly dead, so there's a lot of dead links and not much content. So this time my plan was to focus on some sites I can actually access. What I'm looking for is fan fiction and specifically fan art, because images, you don't get a lot of images on these sites because I think images might be a pain to upload or something. So you don't get a lot of images, especially like a lot of low quality stuff, just because, yeah, I don't know, I think just websites couldn't handle it back then or something. So fan art is kind of rare to find, but you do find it sometimes hidden in like a download link, so you don't actually see it on the site. So, but I love finding fan art because back then it was kind of a chore to make. So yeah, I love finding fan edits and stuff. So I'm looking for fan art and maybe some fan fiction. I might read some excerpts. I'm specifically looking for more Buck and Ike fan fiction. Okay, so the characters are Kid, Jimmy, Cody, Buck, Ike, and Lou. That's season 1 characters. I've only seen season 1 so far. In the ensuing seasons, there was also Noah and Jesse, but like I said, I haven't gotten there yet. I think I'll explain the characters, because I assume if anybody's watching this, you're probably not too familiar with the characters, so I'll explain the characters as I come across fan fiction. And I probably won't read big excerpts for reasons I'll explain in a little bit. But yeah, so I found some actually active sites, specifically the bolded ones here. I think ones that I think would be interesting to look at. And to start us off, I kind of want to. This is the Hitching Post, and I don't know who. Becca. I guess Becca was the admin of this site, and it was last updated in 2002. And I just wanted to kind of, I really like the little explainer they have on their page, so I'm just going to read it. In 1989, ABC aired the first episode of a western based upon the adventurous lives of Pony Express riders called The Young Riders. With their good looks and adventurous spirits, Kid, Jimmy, Noah, Buck, Ike, Cody, and Lou, along with Teaspoon, Rachel, Emma, and Sam, worked their ways into our hearts and minds each week. Since its cancellation in 1992, the Young Riders' popularity has grown by leaps and bounds through countless fan-made through countless fan-based websites. So that's basically what all these are, fan-based websites. And I think I mentioned this in the first video. A lot of these websites were founded like between a lot in 1999, a few in 98, and a few in 2000. Actually, quite a few in 2000, but there was a steep drop off after 2003. Like, they basically, for whatever reason, almost all these sites dropped like flies between 2003 and 2004. That's like, a lot of these sites list their last update, and that's between 2003 and 2004 is when most of these sites were last updated. Unless you're Rival Riders and your last update was 2021, I think that is quote unquote the most active of these sites I've found, like 2021 update. Yeah, so I've got an order of operations here. Oh yeah, I literally just discovered this. So when you think of old websites, like I was surprised more of these websites didn't have audio. Like, you know how you'd click on like an old school website and they'd play like an audio file in the background of like some music? I was surprised none of these sites had this, but you may notice I'm using, I mean, I do love Firefox, but I'm using Edge for this because Edge is kinder to old websites. And in particular, Firefox likes to block old pop-ups, like old school website pop-ups for some reason. And Edge allows those. Like, I remember back last year, I was trying to run, this is cool, but you need to view it on Edge. It's the Wilderness Downtown. It was like an old school, like Microsoft web game, and it relied on like the old school kind of pop-ups, and I could only get it to run on Edge. So I think, I don't know, Edge is kind of the legacy sites, I guess, because it allows all the quirky pop-ups that people would code into their sites. So when I was browsing on Firefox, I was wondering, why do none of these sites have like the theme song playing in the background? Like, isn't that something you'd see? And I just discovered, like, literally an hour ago. This didn't pop up on Firefox. And it doesn't play automatically, but I assume you can hear that. That's the Young Riders theme song from the opening credits. And I was like, yes, finally, I found a site with music in it. Like, it doesn't pop up. Yeah, I think I'll just let it play. It doesn't pop up automatically, which is sad, but I'm glad that there was a site with music playing in it at some point. Like, that's now I need to find one with like one of those like weird custom cursors, like your cursor, like your mouse is like a cowboy hat or something. I don't know, maybe even Edge doesn't support that anymore. But yeah, I found music. I'm so happy about that. Okay, so this kind of looks like a trivia site. I might check that out later. The main sites I wanted to check out were the hitching post, which I didn't really, there's a lot to dive into here, so I didn't really look into it in the first video. And I also wanted to look a bit closer at Blood Brothers, just because Buck and Ike are my favorite characters. And oh yeah, if you slogged your way through the first video, there was, in the Greg Rainwater biography, there was like actual like contact info. So yeah, so I guess doxing was fine back in 1999. They didn't dox Greg specifically, but like they had like the contact info of his like talent agent at the time, so you could like send him quote unquote fan mail, which is a bit sus looking back on it. Yeah, the Buck and Greg fans are like incredibly intense. Like I think I was saying on Twitter, like there's a lot of Jimmy fans and a lot of Kid fans, but Buck fans like outshine them in order of intensity by like a lot. They're just, I don't know. You'll see what I mean. Yeah, so I wanted to look at the Hitching Post, and we'll get back to Blood Brothers. And well, speaking of Buck, I listened to the Back to the Bunkhouse podcast, and last episode I listened to was the first episode featuring Johnny Betts, who I still haven't read the writer review yet. I'm a fake fan. I'll get there eventually. But they mentioned a Buckhead site. Like, you know how in the previous video, Kid Nation was the home of the Kidettes? Apparently there was a site for Buckheads, and I found it. I had to, yeah, it only works through the Wayback Machine. And I've been here before, as you can see. I swear my voice hasn't been the same since the plague. I avoided it for almost 3 years. I had almost had like a clean 3-year streak. And then frickin' December of 2023. I am soothing my throat by drinking PC Decadent chocolate chip cookie hot chocolate through my Young Riders mug, because that seemed appropriate. Where was I? Oh yeah, so I found this. They mentioned this on the podcast, and I found it, and I was happy I found it. Yeah, because so many, like, I see references to so many of these sites on other sites, and then I can't find them. And I don't know how I found the Buck Stop. I think I found it before, but I just didn't go way back enough. Yeah, so I kind of just wanted to look through more of this site, just because I very briefly went over it last time. Oh yeah, and I figured out how to say Eutychus. So Eutychus the horse. And Rose the horse. I'm glad I figured that out. Yeah, so I wanted to check out the hot links to cool places again, because this looks like I opened it, but I don't recall what's in there, so let's just start looking. Was there a pop-up? I thought I saw a pop-up. It's Angel Fire ad. It's getting through the ad block. On the wall. Okay, ladies and gents, and all patrons of the Hitching Post. This is a brand new section I've added for artwork, graphics, and pics of all kinds. I'm stepping out on a limb and posting some of the graphics I've played around with. Some I'm really pleased with. Some, well, let's just say I'm an English major and not an art major for very good reason. I'd like to invite y'all to send any pics, personal or Young Riders oriented, graphics or artwork you'd like to see on the walls of the Hitching Post. This is your page, and I want you to feel free to decorate the walls of this here saloon any way you wish. You know the drill. Send stuff or comments to me, the barkeep, Becca. A lot of these screenshots are from other websites, and I'll admit I take plenty of screenshots myself, but I do occasionally dip into these websites if I need screenshots, just because the selection is so good. They're not, quality is not that great, but I don't know. Some of the screenshots pretty funny. Anyway, what have we got here? Well, if this ain't a mood, can I zoom in? I'm used to Firefox. That's a... I bemoan the lack of the Young Riders memes, but maybe the memes are there. I just need to get them back out there. Like that. This was the first one I did completely with Paint Shop. Borrowed Ike from Melissa's site. So these are like fan fiction covers. What's going on here? There's a lot going on here. So we got fire, like, I don't know. Well, at the very least, I kind of want to know what goes on in the fan fiction now. Again, sorry about my voice. Maybe I'm sitting wrong. Probably. Paint shop and print shop. So it's Paint Shop, like retro ripoff Photoshop. I need to know. I have no idea. Maybe it's lost to time. By Becca. I don't know. I've seen these before. Completed Tavern Tales, House Favorites, dedicated to readers' favorite lines from fan fiction. I looked at that briefly. I wouldn't mind. This is a safe bet. I might read some more of these. I looked at Dana's last time. So, Starbright's House Favorites. No. You run into this a lot. Okay, so Starbright's House Favorites aren't available, but Dana's were. So I think this was like her favorite, well, it could be her or him, their favorite quotes from fanfiction they'd read. Okay, I'm just gonna read a random one. God help me. Okay, I'll go with this one. You gave him a strychnine? I need to Google this already. Come on. Control V. Highly toxic cutter. I donate to Wikipedia. I'm not on my usual browser. Strychnine is a highly toxic, colorless, bitter, crystalline alkaloid used as a pesticide, particularly for killing small vertebrates such as birds and rodents. So what's the context here? You gave him strychnine? Lou hollered. Buck was surprised by the amount of voice there was in the tiny woman. I'll kill you, damned useless idiot doctor. Her voice made Buck jump at every word. Buck heard her cock her gun in the same instant that Theresa stepped out of the teepee. Lou, damn it, she yelled. He's gonna kill Kid, Tessa. Don't listen to him. He wants Kid dead. I'll just hold your hand till you fall asleep, she told him. As their hand clutched onto each other's and their fingers intertwined, Kid smiled. Never let go. Not as long as I breathe, Lou smiled back at him as his eyes drifted shut. There are so many more lines and words in this story, I just cannot give them all to you. But I can tell you that it is worth reading, as I have done at least 10 times more, or more. I just love it so, and you will too, Dana. If the kid dies, I'm not sure how much I'm gonna like the fic. Found at the Lou and Kid Shrine and Pony Express Inn. I might check that out just because I want to know the goddamn context here. Like, who's poisoning the kid? Okay, you know, I'm just gonna take a quick strychnine. I'm gonna take a quick detour and hop back over to Blood Brothers. No, actually, no. The Young Riders Expressions. Haha. Yeah, so this is a fanfic site, and this one was 2007. So this one lasted longer than most. It held on like an extra 3 years after all the other ones died. So this was like, well, the Rival Riders is kind of the last unicorn, but this is like 2009, so this is like second to last unicorn. You know, I've considered, well, I'm making myself like a portfolio site on NeoCities, and I'm struggling, not gonna lie. So hats off to the people who coded these sites themselves. Mine's probably not gonna look too much more professional. What was I saying? I was going somewhere with fanfics. Sorry. Oh yeah, one of my goals was to find more Buck and Ike fanfiction, just for illustrative purposes. Buck and Ike. They're my favorite characters, and like I mentioned in the last video, that was way too long. You occasionally find like queer fanfiction with these two, like old school in like 2004, 2002, which I don't know, it's nice that people were still like shipping guys way back then. I say 2002 like it was like 1922. Like it wasn't that backwards back then. Yeah, so I was trying to find more Buck and Ike fanfiction, or even like Kid and Jimmy fanfiction, because you do occasionally find Kid and Jimmy fanfic, or in this case Kid, Jimmy, and Lou, because okay, so the canon relationship of this, like, the kid was kind of the main character, and his love interest was Lou, who was a girl riding with the other Pony Express riders, but she like passed herself off as a boy, like she dressed like a boy in order to maintain the job, but her fellow riders knew that she was a girl. So Lou and Kid were like the main romantic couple throughout the series, but a lot of people shipped Lou and Jimmy because they were like, people were pretty intense about that pairing. I don't really know why. Maybe because it was like the illicit romance or something. I think they had like one kiss in like the 3-season series. But you occasionally get Lou, Jimmy, and Kid all shipped together. Okay, so my favorite character is probably Buck, but Buck's role in this fandom is kind of fraught. The person on this site obviously loved Buck. There's a lot of Buck fan fiction on this site. Where was one about wolves? Oh yeah. Buck rescues a strange young woman, but finds himself in great peril from a legendary pack of wolves. This is how most Buck fan fiction goes, because he's like the token native. The show usually stuck to like 6 main characters, like some came and left, but Buck was always the only native, so he just got all the stereotypes slapped on him in a lot of these fan fictions. Some of them are good, like some of them are like done tastefully. Like there's one fic on AO3 called Belonging, and the pairing is Buck and Ike, and I thought that one was really well done for a Young Riders fanfic. But a lot of them just go like head first dive down into the like Native American tropes. So yeah, like I said, despite him being my favorite character, his legacy is fraught. And there's a lot of Buck self-insert, like Buck shipped with OCs. So yeah, if I'm gonna read anything, I'm gonna need to like pre-read it. So I apologize for that. Back to my list of stuff I was actually going to do. I need to look at more funny stuff. Let's go back to the hitching post, because let's just go through everything on the hitching post like as fast as we can. After I get a glass of water, because my voice is absolutely, I don't know. very animatedly getting a glass of water so you can hear it. It said I've had one viewer throughout this whole stream, but I don't know who. So I'm just wondering if it's like some phantom viewer, so Twitch helping me not get like inferiority complex or something. Anyway, okay, so Tavern Tales, fanfiction page. And Myths and Legends is completed Tavern Tales, so... Sorry, I can buy. Thanks to everyone who has been sending me feedback on the stories on this page. It brightens my day so much to hear from all my fellow TYRers. The young writer-ers. In my head, because you see this acronym a lot. I use this acronym a lot. In my head, it's tier. So it's tierers. Okay. The Book of Ruth. Survivor of a wagon train raid. Ruth was taken in by Indians who adopted her and loved her. But now she must leave the safety of the only family she's ever known and make her own way. Follow her adventures as she journeys and meets the express riders. Can she find her own way in a hostile world? I think I'll skip that. Our first Cody story. Cody never gets stories. Nobody likes Cody. And I don't blame them, because Cody has the least character development. And, like, he has no character development. And I wonder if that's because, like, he's, like, a historical... What was I gonna say? A fan insert character. He's Buffalo Bill. But also, Jimmy was, like, a historical person, like Wild Bill Hickok. And he got, like, some original... The Young Rider specific backstory, but they didn't give Cody is the only one without a backstory. We just kind of know his personality, and he has like very little character development, so like yeah, so you almost get in like no Cody content. Also this is a purpose of nothing, but Buck gets put in a lot of weird situations. Like, I think I saw one fic where Buck comes across a vampire, and then there was one with the wolves, and like Buck is always getting thrown into these weird situations. Yeah, if I'm gonna read any fan fiction, I'm gonna look over it first. Ooh, I like this page. Got like horses and lightning. The contrast here is terrible. What Might Have Been by Becca. What would have happened if Lou hadn't escaped Wicks that fateful night? Would she and the kid ever have met? What if Kid was already courting someone else at the time? Okay, you know what? Just to keep things interesting. Okay, maybe not here because the selection isn't that great, but I will pick a random fan fiction and then read an excerpt. Hey Barkeep, aka About Me. Is this about Becca? Ooh. Name Becca, age 23. Okay, so when I first started looking at these sites, I assumed most of the admins were around like 16. But no, most of the admins are around, well, like it says here, like 23 to 30s. And, well, because I assumed, because like the Young Riders is like I thought it was aimed at teens. Like, you got like characters around 18 years old and kind of like their drama. So I thought it was like a teen show. But no, a lot of the people who run these sites are actually like actual adults. Okay, I'm gonna try and read this, even though my voice is shot for some reason. Hey Barkeep. Well, now I guess that would be me, huh? I am the one behind the bar in the apron now, ain't I? I'm not gonna put on a southern accent. Like, a southern accent wants to come out, but I'm gonna hold it back. What can I tell you about myself? Name's Becca Schaefer, and I just recently took up ownership of this fine establishment here called the Hitchin Post. I make a fine Irish stew and a mean fuzzy navel that'll just about curl your toes off even if it ain't whiskey in it. No, this is written funny. I'm gonna get through it. I've been living in these parts for about 15 years now. I used to live down Albuquerque way when I was a little tyke, and my family moved back here east to Pennsylvania when I was round about 9 or so. My parents split up about then, but we all survived and moved on, and I got more family out of the deal. I spent the rest of my childhood growing up in the country, about half an hour away from the nearest real town. Both sets of grandparents were close, so my little brother Aaron and I spent lots of time with them. Both grandfathers had gardens, and Mom and Dad's used to have a dairy farm, so I got a real taste of the country life. Mom was, and is, a hard worker, and put herself through school to become a psychologist. She worked with the local aging office for a while before becoming an addictions counselor and therapist for the local hospital. Dad was in the Air Force before he retired and now works for the North American Moving Company as a dispatcher. Stepmom Tambra is still in the Air Force training the little darlings. It gets mighty lonely with all us going every which way, so I count my pets like family. I've got 2 cats. Bujo is that, unless it's not Bujo and it's Bougiox, but I don't think it is. My black Egyptian-like cat, she looks just like the drawings from the pyramids, and Gracie Allen, my grey English tabby. You'd never believe that they were from the same litter. Then there's the baby of the family, Annie McGregor, our yellow lab, who has her own place in the corner of the couch. Woe be ye who dares move Annie McGregor from her spot. On to the basics. Name Becca, age 23, occupation student, healthcare aide, even though I'd rather get paid for writing fanfic. Don't we all? Favorite tier character? Kid and Lou. Ain't it obvious from the fanfic? Favorite fanfics? A Bond So Strong and Wild Rose by Joanna. Never Ever by Starbright. And To Live Without You by Amy. Salad ingredients: lettuce, mushroom, broccoli, cheese, croutons, and either ranch or honey mustard dressing. Hey Barkeep. Yeah, I hear ya. I'm trying to welcome the newbie here, you mind? Anyway, where was I? Oh, you find yourself at a table and make yourself at home. Jake's starting a new hand poker if you want to get in on it. The drinks are cold and the food's hot, and if you listen real hard, you may hear tales of high adventure and romance as well. Just be careful you don't listen too long to old Harry's stories about lost treasure in the mountains. They're all just tall tales. I gotta get back to running this here place, but you be sure to have a good time and come on back anytime you want. I may even buy you a round myself if I'm feeling so inclined. Good day to you. On the topic of poker, I have, to show my dedication as a Young Riders fan, I bought a set of cards and I pulled out the Dead Man's Hand, and I was gonna wear it in my hat because that was kind of my gimmick last year. Like I wore like a toque with stuff in the brim, but I haven't really, for once in my life, I like how my hair looks, so I haven't been wearing a toque to school and I haven't been sticking stuff in the brim. So right now as I speak, my Dead Man's Hand is attached to my lampshade with a paperclip, and also now I just have a deck of cards that's missing 5 cards, and I don't know what to do with the rest of them. Like, I could probably use the Ace of Spades. No, but the Ace of Spades is in the dead hand. Yeah, so if you have any ideas for, like, what I can use a stack of cards that's missing 5 cards for, please let me know. Anyway. I liked how that was written, so I just wanted to read it. Don't shoot the musicians. They're doing the best they can. Seen on this lone musician sign during the Lincoln Country Roar. Where did these link to? Oh, they have like their own lyrics page. Did they? I bet you they had to write. Be quiet, phone. It's not my bedtime yet. I bet you they had to listen to these songs and write all these lyrics down, because Like back before knew you could use Google for these things, I did the same. Behind the bar, stories that contain adult content for a 17-year. Okay, this is what I was gonna do. I was gonna pick a random adult fic and then read a random section from it, no matter how bad it was. If I really hated myself, I would find like a really bad buck fic and then read a random line from it, or like a random paragraph. Uninvited guests. Let's start easy here. The story, an AYRF award winner. Oh, is that the Academy of Young Writers Fanatics? The site that died in the middle of the elections. I'm so mad about that. But was this one of the winners? Like, did oh, I need to look at this. Because I didn't think... Well, maybe they had previous contests. Please be forewarned that this story has recommended rating of an NC-17. Well, what happens? Also, like, this is going on YouTube later. I know YouTube has like a strict like no adult content policy, but they sell adult movies, like, well, not like adult movies, but like R-rated movies on the platform, because I had to buy one for research for a video that's coming out soonish. I say soonish. Vaguely related to the Young Riders. You'll see. But yeah, they don't allow R-rated videos, but they sell R-rated movies, so like, what's the deal there? Anyway, okay, let's pick a random line and hope for the worst. Chapter 4. When Louise walked into her bedroom, she found her husband sleeping peacefully. His naked body, was wrapped around the covers. Lou smiled. Curse these. Let's lay up. Lou smiled. They realized very early in their marriage that it was useless to get dressed for bed, since they ended up naked anyway. She carefully climbed over to him and started kissing his shoulders. He mumbled something in his sleep and rolled over toward her. Since he rolled over, she was now kissing his chest, and he moaned as she worked her way down. Okay. Well, I landed in a good spot. That's all you're getting. I'll read a bad buck fic as well. Telling you how to submit a piece to the Hitching Post. Can I submit something? I'm working on a fic. Yeah, it's called Twist My Arm. Because the most country band I listen to is the Tragically Hip. I'm working on it's Kid and Jimmy. I'm working on Kid and Jimmy fic called Twist My Arm. So can I submit it? Think about sending a submission. Great, here's how you do it. I'll accept anything. Poetry, short stories, long stories, or novellas, screenplays, individual scenes, or even your thoughts on an episode. As far as adult stories are concerned, I have no problems posting them as long as you can put up a warning or two first. I do not ask that adult content be reasonably essential to the storyline, and not just with gratuitous sex or violence. In my mind, we are dealing with adults in these stories, and they have adult thoughts, feelings, languages, and actions. If you say so. However, if you want to write a penthouse letter, for those of you who don't know what those are, I'll be glad you've still got your innocence left. I'm slightly too young. Is that? I know Penthouse was like the rival to Playboy. That's a reference that's lost on me, I think. And then send it to Penthouse and not here. If you have any questions regarding this, please feel free to email me and we'll talk. Yeah, so do you take will you take queer Kid and Jimmy fanfiction? That's my question. Well, considering the ceased operations in 2002, I'm not sure they're taking any more submissions, sadly. Rails and Trails, that's like a web ring, like a disassembled web ring. I haven't looked into it yet. Yeah, there might be more sites to add to the list here. Buy around, aka who's among the authors. I've been trying, you see a lot of repeat names. I've been trying to like memorize who's who. Oh, so is this like the 2000 version of like Discord introductions. Maryland, USA. Age 36, married with 2 kids. Yeah, so these weren't. Yeah, so a lot of times it wasn't kids writing these fan fictions. Yeah, like I swore this show was like a teens show because like that's the age of most of the characters. But no. Yeah, like I said in the first video, it's kind of a lot like early Harry Potter fandom, where it's a lot of the most intense fans were like adult women. Anyway, yeah, the behind the bar, that's pretty entertaining. I might look at that later. What was the next site? Blood Brothers. I was gonna just comb over Blood Brothers to see if I missed anything from last time. And again, I like this little blurb by Brody here. They were the most uncommon of friends, one who couldn't talk, one who wasn't listened to. Together, they were able to overcome the odds. Ike and Buck, Blood Brothers. So as we'll recap, Ike is mute, he can't speak, and he talks in sign language, which was taught to him by Buck. And I was unaware of Plains Indian Sign Language before watching The Young Riders, and like please look it up if you haven't. It's like the coolest thing. Like it was like not a universal language because it was like pre-colonization America, but like from what I could tell, the sign language worked basically all across America from like Mexico to Canada. And it was like a bridge language to like bridge the dozens, probably hundreds of different like in native languages all across America. Like they all had at least one like bridge hand sign language. And I don't know how accurate it was in the show. Like I'd like to think they got like an actual historian who knew what they were saying. And from the little I have cross-reference, I think it's at least like a little accurate. Like I know the sign for, I've seen the sign Ike makes for horse or horseback riding is accurate. I was trying to, yeah, I think I used a photo from the site in the preview here. And so yeah, as previously mentioned, I'm not familiar with the channel Odyssey, but I think Odyssey was broadcasting reruns of The Young Riders. I'm way zoomed in here. 5-cent novel store, I can buck. Okay, I was gonna... This one doesn't have tags, and like, I'm surprised a lot of the fics do have tags. I've enjoyed working on this storyline for about 2 years now. I only wish I had more chapters to show for it. But now that I have finished school, I hope that I can get the story up faster and with longer chapters. Then, of course, I always have Nasiri and Jill to nag me to keep on the updates. Guys, chapters 13 to 15 are for you. So here's Silent Threat. And it's what I have so far form. In its what I have so far form. Allison Sky. This looks like an epic. Have we gotten any one-shots? Like, they didn't call them one-shots back then, but here's a one-shot. Should I? Okay, I'm gonna keep tabs on this. Maybe maybe to like close off the stream, I'll actually like read a one shot. I like that the pages all have a home button. Thank you for that. I wonder if back then they didn't have like the back button, so that's why they had to link back to home in all the pages. Okay, I know Greg's biography had some contact info. Does Travis's? To contact. Honestly, I don't know. Poor Travis fine. He may be fine, but he's not fine enough to be worth doxing, sadly. Nobody wanted to send him fan mail. Filmography. So this is his filmography up until 99. What has he done since then? I'm just curious. I know Yvonne, who played Lou, sadly passed away a few years ago. Really? He hasn't done that much. So that was the last. I don't know what he's up to these days, I guess. As a fellow Buck and Ike fan, I'm sad there's not more on that site. Okay, yeah, I said I had stuff planned out, but not really. And it's coming up to an hour, and that was kind of my time limit. I apologize for talking to one side of the mic for like half this stream. Yeah, I wanted to end it off by looking at the Buckstop, which is my latest edition. Well, the Buckstop and the Tumblr blog were my latest editions. This is the most recent save because I think they nuked this site, which just strikes me as so funny. Like the admin of this site was just like, perhaps they were just overcome with embarrassment and were just like, all right, everybody pack it in, we're nuking it. But I'm glad I was able to find it. So hang on, I just need another glass of water. I got a warm glass of water. Maybe that'll help. Ow. I was in a bar. I was in a bar several days ago, and it was like the first bar I've been in that was like actually loud, and I had to actually like yell to be heard. So maybe I like screwed up my voice then or something. Yeah. So I just wanted to like. Okay. So. Bit of background. So the character Buck is in the show, he's half Kiowa, and so he's kind of the target of a lot of like the racist shopkeeper in one episode, and he is played by a guy named Greg Rainwater. Greg with 2 G's. And so yeah, I just found this kind of weird and hilarious, the Gregtionary. So, like I said, Greg fans are very intense, so they made a whole dictionary of like Gregified words. This is the thing I was wondering, because I was listening to the podcast the Back to the Bunkhouse podcast episode where they had Johnny Betts on, and I was kind of wondering why the Young Riders crew took Johnny seriously and none of the other fans who made just as much content as he did. But now looking back on it, I think the flavor of obsession was different between like Johnny and the fangirls, because like with Johnny, his like, yes, he was I'm calling you out, Johnny, you were obsessed, but like but he was obsessed in a way that he was like kind of like picking apart each episode and writing these long reviews, which I haven't I haven't read these yet, but I'm sure they're hilarious. Anyway, yeah, so this kind of obsession strikes me as different than like the Greg Shinera kind of obsession. Like, I think this would be a little more intimidating to the actors, maybe slightly. Count Gregula is in a suave hypnotic vampire. Gregg. Gentle, rambunctious, earnest, gallant, generous. Kimberly. Greggability, as in ability. Yeah, so like the flavor of obsession is different. Like, I can see why Josh Brolin wanted to interact with one and maybe not the other. That sounds so harsh, because like, I don't know, I'd probably be friends with these gals. I'm gonna be honest. Book fan page. Yeah, so I'm gonna I'll pick a random one and read it. Well, was I gonna read this? I thought it was funny, but no. I just saw the word breed, and it was like, wait, what? Where is this fic going? But no, it's breed in a different sense, so never mind. Yeah, so I was looking through this for like more young writer sites. I didn't find any, I don't think. Sign our guest book. Can I sign the guest book? Let me sign the guest book. I don't, if this is through the Wayback, I don't think I can sign the guest book. I can't sign the guest book. I Am My Beloveds by Heidi. Heidi is a name I cannot find the page where I found this piece of fan art. But I found this piece of fan art way back before I even started watching the Young Riders. This was back when I was working on the project currently codenamed the Dumb Pilgrimage. Hang on, your screen's gonna go black for no wait. I don't know how to make the screen black. Anyway, okay, I'm just gonna bare my soul and I need to find. Please don't dox me with my toolbar or whatever. I found this piece of fan art long before I started watching the Young Riders, but I had to print it out and stick it on my wall. And it was like my good luck token on my wall next to my Juice WRLD poster and framed picture of Kiska. Hang on. Where? This is gonna take me a minute to find. If I can't find it, I'm gonna punch a wall. Yes. This was on I think this was on the Stephen Baldwin fan site somewhere. I printed this out and hung it on my wall because I just loved it so much. This is what I was hoping to find this stream, more fan art, because I have not found yes, this is awful. But that's why I love it. It's just so earnest. Lissa, here you go. Thought you might enjoy my attempt at a drawing of our favorite. Love, Heidi. This was hanging up on my wall for several months. It's in a box somewhere. I need to hang it back up. because I moved into the front room. Wanted, dead or alive, for the Thievery of Hearts $500 reward. And like, I didn't know the names of the characters at this point, but I quickly picked up on the fact that Buck was the favorite. Even though he is like the dweebiest looking one out of the main gang. He is like the dweebiest rider. But I don't know. He had that like dweeb charm, I guess. So yeah, I was hoping to find more fan art, but I didn't. And like I said, I don't know where I found that picture. Like, I've been trying to find because I think it was in a download link. Like, it wasn't a picture on the page. I had to hit download somewhere. So, Hear No Evil by Heidi. So I assume this is, because it's a small community, I assume this is the same Heidi. And if there's a Melissa in here, yeah, so I think Melissa was the artist. Yeah, so sorry I'm not gonna mooch off his jokes. Sorry there wasn't many of my own jokes here. Yeah, Buck Stories, HTML. Let's pick a random one and give it a spin. More stories coming soon. Buck's loneliness goads him into taking a mail-order bride from abroad. Will it be a love match or a disaster? Yeah, like I said, Buck gets thrown into all these weird situations. I'm gonna hit one at random. Oh, is this a... Learn more about the beautiful yet mysterious Indian maiden that helped the writers in Prairie Possessions and captured Buck's heart in A Love Reborn. Are these fanfics or episodes I haven't gotten to yet? I want to say it's fanfics, because there aren't many Buck episodes. Lily was first introduced in Prairie Possessions as the daughter of Running Wolf, the evil spirit who tries to take over Buck's soul. Buck gets no rest. Like, my man is just taking one L after the other. Like leave Buck alone. Okay, where is Prairie Possessions? Like actual demonic possessions. Okay, we need to end on that one then. I assume it's on here. Prairie Possessions. Demons. Lost and alone after Ike's death, Buck searches for a way to ease the grief. But his search for peace takes him far from his remaining family and himself in this story of loss, making mistakes, and finding your way back home again. Where's Prairie Possessions? Or is this like... Is Melissa like me and she like publishes like the character biography before she's even like written the story? Like that's how I've been writing like my character biographies on the Ga'Hoole Fanon Wiki. So I'm like writing like, well, in the Ga'Hoole Renaissance, Dio, it's insinuated that Dio has a long-lasting rivalry with Magellan, but like I haven't written Ga'Hoole Renaissance yet, so I'm just like referencing a hypothetical fan fiction. Is that the case here? Like she hadn't actually written the fan fiction yet? If so, I'm mad, because like I want to see Buck get possessed. Like what does that look like? What happens? Back to Buck's fanfiction. Back to the Sweetwater Times. Okay, is it in the Sweetwater Times? Please work. Yes. Buck's fanfiction. Please work. This might be this is a new site for me. No. Okay, so they share a page there. Oh, this is interesting. The Young Riders Mad Libs. Okay, I said I was going to end the stream, but like, before I lose this site, I'm just going to bookmark it. No. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. There's Prairie Possessions in here. Love is Sweetwater. Thorns of the Past, Roses of the Future. I think I've seen that elsewhere. Second Chance. Prairie Possessions, chapters 1 and 9 plus epilogue. Okay, there's no way I'm reading all of this, but synopsis. It is October 30th, 1861, the day before Halloween. I don't think... I'm trying to dig back. Was Halloween celebrated in America back then? I don't think so. And the riders have asked to participate in a run that will take them through a sacred Indian burial ground. Of course. Of course. Before the run is completed, their strengths, weaknesses, and friendships will be put to the ultimate test. Will they survive? I kind of want to read this, like, as a stream. Like, I'm nearing 1.5 hours here, so The cool autumn day was drawing to a close when Jimmy arrived at the station house, back from a run. As he approached the bunkhouse, he could hear a heated argument coming from inside. Now, Buck, you know it isn't every day I ask for favors of this sort. Teaspoon trailed off. No, I need to do a Teaspoon voice. Which is perfect because my voice is actually absolutely shot right now. Now, Buck, you know it isn't every day I ask favors of this sort. Teaspoon trailed off. Buck, who was sitting on one of the bottom bunks with his head in his hands, abruptly stood and faced the old man, his eyes burning brightly. That's more than a favor, Teaspoon. You're asking me to go against everything I believe in. Quietly observing the scene from in front of him, Jimmy walked through the door and waited to intervene if need be. Buck, Teaspoon sighed wearily, for obviously this argument had been going on for a long time. I wouldn't ask it if it weren't of the utmost importance. As you know, I've been friends with the Indians for most of my life. Heck, I even married a few, and I understand your beliefs. But you are a rider for the Pony Express, and it is their job to deliver the mail, regardless of where it has to go. Okay, that is incredibly out of character for Teaspoon. He would never force Buck to do that. Like, that's the most out of character thing I've ever read. But, like, it's probably the... Okay, if this was an episode, then Teaspoon would have some, like, ulterior motive here. Like the time, you know, the time... I forget the episode, but he fake fought with Jimmy in order to get Jimmy out so Jimmy could rat out a bunch of criminals. Like, that's the only situation where I could see this working. Like, this isn't even the most ridiculous fanfiction I've come across. I'm gonna leave this open so I can catalog it. Yeah, so kind of slow start to this stream, I don't know. I was trying to find the swing of things. So have I been peaking this whole time? Like my audio? I hope not. Yeah, I just kind of wanted to try and shake myself out of a funk. I was kind of in a funk today. Verdict on the... Oh yeah, I bought some... What the hell do you call it? Kugeln? Mozart Kugeln? I bought they're like Mozart truffles, but like on the box here, it's I think it's probably from Austria. It just says Mozart balls. And I find that very funny. If Mozart was anything like the character from Amadeus, I think you'd find it funny too. They're all right. They're all right. They're like 80% marzipan, which I don't know what I was expecting besides marzipan. And like I said, I'm not working very diligently on it, but I do have a couple of my own fanfics in the works. I've got like 20 fanfics in the works, and they're all from like different obscure, obsolete fandoms, but like none of them are close to finished. So like I honestly don't know what I'm gonna post on my AO3 next. Like I've got my own private Idaho fanfiction on the go. I've got like I said, the Young Riders Jimmy and Kid fanfiction. kind of just want to ramble for a little bit. Actually, while I ramble, you guys can look at this nice gif of a dolphin. Or how about this image? This was from Blind Love. So, oh yeah, the fic I'm writing takes place right after Blind Love, and the thesis for the fic is that Kid was being a hard ass to Jimmy in that episode because he was jealous that a girl stole Jimmy from under him. And then after Jimmy almost dies, they confess their love in a, like, very melodramatically. Spoilers. Yeah, my own private Idaho fic. I was working on a fix-it fic because all the my own private Idaho fics on AO3 are equally sad. And I went on there looking for a fix-it fic. And I didn't find any, so I was like, damn, do I have to write my own? And I think I do. Yeah, I was gonna read some stuff, but I don't have anything worth reading. Well, maybe I'll, should I read, okay, should I, as like, is restitution the word I'm looking for? As like, okay, to like pay my due, or like to make up for all the fan fiction I've been mocking, I will read some of my own fan fiction. This is like first draft, so don't. No, actually, you have every right to hate me in this fan fiction. It's kind of piecemeal right now. Okay, no. I don't have to read this, but I feel like after dragging all these other authors, I feel like I deserve it. I need to stick my own neck out. Hang on, I need an image. Okay. Okay, so this is me making fun of everybody else. I'm reading my own fan fiction. So this is in medias res. This starts like this part I'm reading is, because it's the only big chunk I've finished right now, so. It began after a run-in with some bandits at a way station, hired guns out to steal sensitive military documents. Jimmy and the Kid downed a few of them, sending the rest running, but in the scuffle, Kid had gotten shot in the arm. When all was said and done, in a flash of relief, Jimmy had pulled the wincing Kid into a tight hug, pressing their lips together in a kiss. It was a brotherly kiss, radiating relief and gratitude. There was nothing inherently romantic about it, but the Kid had hated how often he thought back on that moment. More prominent in his memory than the lead in his arm was the way Jimmy had embraced him afterwards. That's all you're getting. Yeah, that's all you're getting. Okay. I think that makes up for all my nagging so far. Yeah, so I'm ending it here before I say anything else incriminating. So yeah, this is going up on my YouTube. I'm probably gonna edit the dead space out of this one. Yeah, I wanna do another stream when I'm maybe like less frazzled, and like I'll write a game plan, because like I tried writing a game plan and I wrote like 3 notes here, so we will get an actual game plan for next stream. So yeah, besides that, ride safe, everybody.